Hi everyone, I thought it would be a good idea for me to sit down and have a little moment of reflection and to share some lessons learned that I've had through this VLogXperiment series. It's been 5 episodes. I'm so grateful for all the support, and I'm so happy that I managed to upload something every week. I've categorized the lessons learned into 2 different sections. On one side I have the personal lessons, and on the other hand I have the technical skills that I learned. I'm going to start with the personal lessons because I feel like those are the most important ones, and these are the ones that I can take with me and they're transferable to future projects that I'll work on. I've got my notes with me here, and I also have my laptop here in case I forget what I want to talk about, so I've just jotted down some points, so when I look here or there, just know that that's what I'm doing. Okay, so the first one, which is the most important thing that I've taken out of this experience, is that I can do whatever I want. And I know that this sounds super obvious and basic, but I really think that for me, this process has almost felt like an exercise in exploring my own agency and how I can work within that space, and almost like reclaiming my agency in a sense. I feel like based on my socialization as someone who grew up in a poor community surrounded by poverty, you know, as a black person, as a woman, as a person from South Africa, I think that there's a lot of messaging that you receive over time throughout your life that over time becomes crystallized as a belief system that you buy into. And I feel like this process has helped me get to a place of realizing that I don't have to subscribe to that. I can unsubscribe, and I'm unsubscribing from that as we speak. I feel like there's a lot of messaging that told me that I'm not worthy, that told me that I don't get to decide what I do with my destiny, and that the only way to get to where you need to get is by doing ABC in a very particular way. And I think this process has reminded me that all of us are divine beings, and we all have a right to choose for ourselves what we want to do. And just because you have a marginalized identity, whatever that may be, it doesn't mean that you are less worthy of going and claiming what you want. And this process has been so empowering in ways that I think I'm going to reap benefits for a long time to come. Another thing that is linked to doing what I want is that I noticed that in the past I've been a part of maybe 1 or 2 campaigns where I was in front of the camera and I wasn't very happy with how I was portrayed. And I can tell you right now that the feeling that I had, oh my gosh, I'm having the feeling right now as I talk about it, is really disempowering, and it left me feeling like my dignity had been tarnished, and it also created like a distorted sense of self. And I feel like this process of creating my own videos has been a reclamation of that power to say that I get to decide how I get to portray myself, and I get to decide what I cut and paste and what I decide to keep and what I don't decide to keep. And that's been like liberating in ways that are unimaginable. So that's been the biggest lesson that I've learned so far. I've got 10 lessons, so that was number 1. The rest are kind of short, but that was the biggest one, and I wanted to start with that because for people who don't know me, who are just dropping into this video, I hope that you watched until the end of that one lesson, so that you can know that you, whoever you are, if you have subscribed into beliefs that make you feel inadequate, that you can unsubscribe whenever you want, okay? And we can all do what we want, and our destiny is somewhat in our hands. Okay, second lesson is that I'm allowed to change my mind. This is a huge lesson that I feel like I keep returning to over time, and as I grow older, I keep receiving this lesson over and over again, and I think it's a sign of growth. It's a sign of, you know, you don't have to do things the way that you had initially thought you were going to do them. It's also got to do with the process. I've been a project manager for 10 years. That was my previous life. I consider myself going through a career change at the moment, and I do feel like my trajectory will be very different. Of course, I'll always be thankful for my project management background because it means I can do anything in any situation. But I do feel like I'm moving more into the creative space in a more deliberate way. And this concept of being allowed to change my mind is a huge one. I think even when I was doing project management, a lot of the times we would come in with a certain idea, and an idea of what we wanted at the end. And a lot of the times we didn't even have the end product that we imagined. Sometimes we would, but for the most part it was about the process. And yeah, this process has also showed me that like it's okay to change my mind. There's a lot of things that I put in the initial trailer, teaser video, intro video that I didn't in the end put in, and that's because as I was doing the process, I was getting closer to defining my identity and my aesthetic. And I came to the realization that I'm not the person who comes on here to talk about my morning routine. I'm not the person who puts a camera in my face. That to me is not a style that I resonate with. I'm grateful for the people who do, and I watch a lot of vlogs like that, but it's just not my aesthetic, and it's where I feel outside of myself. So I decided to cut those out and to rather go with an aesthetic and a feel and a style that works for me. And that this is a good segue for moving into the technical skills. First big one is that I'm realizing that I have a vision in my mind, and there is a gap that exists between the vision that I have for myself and actually being able to create it. And this process of the VLogXperiment and other projects that I'm working on that I'll tell you about at the end are addressing that gap. And that gap has got to do with a lack of skills, you know, a lack of education, a lack of resources. And I do believe that even in this 5-week, 6-week period, I have managed to bridge that gap even just a little bit. And yeah, so it's almost affirming in a weird way to know that the issue here is not that I don't have vision, because I do have beautiful divine visions of what I want to create, and that the part where I'm not able to do it is something that can be changed. The intention. So with every video, I've started noticing that I started being able to figure out what my intention was with each video, and with each video that I created, it became clearer and clearer that the intention was to share how I see reality, or how I experience reality, and to create videos that would transport the viewer into a place where they get to see reality as I view it, or have a perspective that I have. And it's been really interesting to explore and to witness myself shifting and doing that more deliberately, because as I've mentioned before, the reason why I started this series was to work on and to address my self-doubt. That was the internal reason. And then obviously there were other reasons too that I didn't mention, but that was one of the main reasons, because as I mentioned before, it was very debilitating, and I still battle self-doubt. But I do think that taking the step of addressing it and sharing my work has definitely helped, because it becomes easier. It almost becomes like muscle memory to like every week create a video. Number 5, very quick, I enjoy editing. I did not expect myself to be somebody who enjoys editing, because every time people talk about editing, who edit, they talk about it as this thing, not everyone, but a lot of times it's like this thing that is a drag, and it's like, it takes so long. And I will agree that it takes a very long time, but oh my goodness, it has been so gratifying to sit down every week and go, where do I cut? Where do I paste? What am I eliminating? What doesn't make sense? What's the sequence? What's the pacing? And in a way, I feel like that's where a large part of the storytelling happens. I thought that a big part of the storytelling happens in the video, the camera shots and stuff like that. Yes, that's obviously a part of it. It's a component. But the editing, oh my goodness, that's kind of where the story gets weaved together and almost gets told. You know, the camera work and that's the materials you use to tell the story, and the editing is where the storytelling happens. And I feel like I heard this somewhere, but it's different to like actually experience it. Huge lesson. Number 6, I really enjoy being a camera operator. There was a time in my life when I fantasized about being a cinematographer. I still have days where, as I'm doing this process, I feel like, oh my gosh, it would be so amazing to be a cinematographer. And I know some cinematographers, and all of them just do such amazing work. And there's just something really, I don't know, energizing about being able to pick up a camera, well, in my case, a phone. Well, actually, I have been playing around with another camera. It's just, I don't know, it's like creating art, you know, visual art, and I really enjoy that as well. Number 7, iPhone. Yo, iPhone is a machine. And this iPhone that I have now, I got quite recently, and it was a grudge purchase in many ways because I'm not someone who likes to spend a lot of money on anything, particularly technology and things like that. But this was something that I'm so grateful I got, because it has literally leveled up everything that I do now in terms of filming. And I did not think that a phone could change my life this much, but it has. And I'm someone who embraces technology. I know there's a lot of dangers to do with technology in the future. I'm so excited about the future of what's going to be able to be created in terms of handheld devices that can help us create visually arresting work. I'm so excited. And I do acknowledge that being able to put handheld stuff that's like quick and easy, and apps and stuff like that, almost for some people it becomes a thing of like, it diminishes the art of creating film and creating photography. But I do enjoy the fact that it becomes more accessible for people to be able to communicate their dreams, their goals, or communicate a message in a way that becomes more and more accessible. And I feel like cell phones and the movement of technology helps with that. And I'm just, yeah, amazed at how amazing this. I mean, I can shoot 4K on this phone. Isn't that incredible? I think that's incredible. I don't know. Number 8, more photography. That's all I can say. I need to take more photographs because I have enjoyed taking photographs so much. And even my eye, like the things that I find interesting to take photos of, has changed. And I do feel like photography and moving images are, you know, they're holding hands basically, you know. So they're two peas in a pod, and you'll be seeing more of that. I mean, I already do it, but I feel like I'm going to be taking it more seriously. I do have quite a few different cameras, like film cameras. All right, number 9. I think I messed up here. How could I forget this one? Number 9 is that people are a lot less scary and a lot kinder than I imagine them in my head. Now, I want to make a distinction. There's a difference in my mind when I think about people in general in a social space. I enjoy people. I know a lot of people are like, oh, people suck, or like, I hate people. I love people. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy watching people. I enjoy being a part of the human race with our flaws and all. And yeah, people are just kinder and a lot less scary than I thought. And the point I was trying to make earlier is that when I'm talking about my fears are things that are irrational, they are illogical, they are things that live in our minds. Yes, they can be influenced by reality, but fears are amplified in a way that doesn't always match the truth of what the experience of doing that thing will be like. So for me, the fear that I was trying to overcome in this was, you know, the fear that people are going to throw tomatoes at me, people are going to, you know, tell me that my shit sucks, you know, and maybe it does, but doing this has shown me that it's less scary than it is in my mind. If someone tells me that my work sucks, okay, that's what they think. And actually, if somebody were to tell me that, I would appreciate that, because it means that you're giving me feedback that could help me improve my work. Now, it would be helpful for you to tell me what sucks, you know, the camera angles, is it monotonous, what? But the bottom line that I'm trying to get at is that I have been so grateful, so thankful for the feedback that I've received from friends, from family, from strangers. So thank you for all of you who have borne witness to my journey and who have supported me in this process. And thank you for being kind and for not being as scary as I thought you would be. And then number 10 is, the end product will probably be different from what you imagined in the beginning. So in the beginning, you have this idea of what you're going to shoot and what it's going to be like. I have so much footage, not even old footage, but like new footage that I've shot since I've started the series that I just have not used at all because it just no longer fit, you know. And I think this also like kind of hops on, or like is similar to the thing about changing your mind. But yeah, I think it's something to do with being adaptable. And one of the things that I think is a superpower of mine is being able to be adaptable. And that has also come with being a project manager, has helped me with that, being able to shift and change and to accommodate the different things that come along the way. And the end product will probably be different, and that's absolutely okay. Now, my final thoughts are that I really enjoy doing this. It is so gratifying. I feel fulfilled in a way that is a lot more intense than I thought it would feel. I knew I would enjoy doing this. I feel more confident with the decision that I've taken over a few years, that I do want to kind of change the trajectory of my career to face more of a creative content production lane. And this feels good, it feels right, it feels like my soul agrees with me on this one. And of course, thank you again for your support. I have appreciated everything. I've appreciated all the likes, all the comments, all the subscribes. There'll be more coming, and that's about it. Please subscribe, please like if this resonates with you. Leave me a comment with any questions that you may have, or comments. I really appreciate receiving those from you. And yeah, that's it. I'm just thankful. Thank you. I hope this wasn't too long, but I did feel like it was super important to have a moment of reflection, not only for myself to look back on later on, but also for other people who might be wanting to, you know, do something similar to combat their self-doubt, or who want to start the process of, you know, maybe going into like a creative field. And I hope this is useful beyond just a reflection and lessons learned for myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you again next week, same time, same place. And I'll also see you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST and 8 p.m. CAT. Okay, I hope you have a good one.